When this deck first popped on Kickstarter, I was immediately drawn to it because of this snake skin pattern and quite a unique design. But when I got it and started working with it, there were a few surprises and some of them weren't that good. Hey, welcome back, and if you're new to the channel, I'm Jay and this is Lunar Tarot, where I bring you weekly tarot and oracle deck reviews to inspire your readings. And the deck I'll be showing you today is the Snake Kingdom Tarot. It's a small Kickstarter project with only 300 copies printed. I backed it a few months ago and I thought I'll show you this today. The team behind this work is a SSHW studio, I think they call themselves, that is registered to be in Montreal, but they say how the people who work in the studio graduated from Fine Arts Academy, I think it's called, in Beijing. Let's have a look at what this deck is and its pros and cons together. The Kingdom of Snake comes in this slightly pale box. It's got a matte finish. It's an edition of a deck. There are two of them. This is the more lighter version, and this is the name of the deck. Also has a little certificate of authenticity here. It's quite a nice touch, and I thought there was 55 backers of this project, but then here it says that it's 300 copies printed, and this is number 126. Now inside we just got a tarot deck and nothing else. I forgot that I actually did not order the guidebook, and then later on I found out that they did share it with everyone. It's an electronic version, and to be honest, I've got my issues with the guidebook because it's literally just a notepad type document with 40 pages of some novel and not a lot to show for the actual cards meanings. Now you may be wondering, why did you buy this deck in the first place? Well, look at this. This is pretty cool, right? So we got this awesome snake pattern on the side, and it's not just that, you also have this rainbowy looking finish of the cards. If you can see, it's a bit of a flickering happening with the gilding, which I thought was quite nice. The cards are claiming to be 330 grams per centimeter with UV coating, and you can tell they got this almost vinyl-like finish to them, which I think is quite nice. They're quite bendy, and as you can imagine, they can be easily reshuffled. And by the way, if you would like to see the full deck, there is a flip through at the end of this video. So this deck is an RWS clone with a very heavy leaning into anime. And it actually reminded me of another deck that I have in terms of its style. So if you're an anime lover, this is probably going to be a very welcome purchase for you. To me, it maybe lacks the character a little bit, and it's very digital and stylized. Colors are sort of a bit matte on this one, and as the name suggests, it's using the snake elements in every card. When having a quick look at the novel, yeah, the guidebook is actually a 40-page novel. It's talking about Snake People Kingdom. I assume this is sort of a bit of a lore there, but it gets a little bit confusing. And I think this deck is trying to be RWS clone, but it's not doing a really good job at that. For example, there's some odd choices here. I picked that the King of Swords, or Knight of Swords rather, is missing a head for no apparent reason. And I don't know if there are more cards like this. Because of that, I find it a little bit of an odd deck. A couple of other peculiarities. I found that all the minor arcana cards, for some reason, have Roman numerals on them. Like in this one, for example, in the Three of Pentacles, this one. And this deck also comes with some typos. Like this card here says it's an Empress, or the Empress, but in reality it's Three of Pentacles. And someone picked on it. It looks like this has been a defect in a lot of decks that they publish, both editions. They have two of them, and now they are in a recall process. But that's not the end of it. The initial Kickstarter project said that this is 78 deck card. To my surprise, I received way more than that. And to be precise, is that many extra cards. And no, that's not all of it. And also this many extra cards. While the creators explained that these are additional cards being added to the deck, they are not described in the guidebook at all. And like this card, for instance, says customize. I've got no idea what it means. If you just forgot to update this to something else, or it's just a random card, or you can assign your meaning to it based on this, but I would rather not include customize because it's a little bit strange to me. It's almost like a unfinished draft design of a card. The nurturing snake card, that's an extra that's been added there. Dawn, which I originally thought was actually a fool, just rebranded, but it's actually a different card. It doesn't have a Roman number here, and it still has a dog in here, so I'm not sure what happened here. Is this a fool that decided not to jump off a cliff and praying for something? I've got no clue. Symbiosis, I think it's a cool card. Not sure what that means though. It looks like this person merged with the dragon. When I saw Chaos, I thought it was actually a tower card, but then I think it represents something else in this one. And I've got this Bless card, again, not clear what this means. We've got a huge snake head in here and a person falling out of a tree. And I'm not sure what this card meant. So this is present in the future. Is this some kind of a divination type of coin if you pull it in this direction or that direction? So on top of that, we got a few more here. So this deck comes in 2 different editions. I can't remember the exact names of them. One is brighter and using brighter colors, and now one's more slightly darker. When I first started going through the deck, I found all these extra cards and I was thinking, did they make a mistake? But they looked just added extra cards from another edition to the deck, which made it super confusing, right? And they just look slightly different than the original, the other deck style. I assume this is kind of a present or maybe a sample, so you can have a look and maybe buy the second deck, or it gives you a taste of what the other deck looks like. In my view, it should have been avoided because it just creates confusion. I do like some of the cards from the extras. They give me more than the pale blight deck that I bought, but overall very strange. I guess unwanted gift is a proper name for this. The deck handles shuffling pretty well because of how pretty awesome the quality of the print is actually. I wish some of the big publishers could pick up similar thing. The cards look pretty nice as well. On the back of it, there's a snake eye here. Because of how thin the deck is, it easily handles riffle shuffles. When I did the trial read on how this card wants to be read, I got the Three of Pentacles, which if you remember is also the Empress card. Confusing. But let's have a look how this actually reads. I would like to get view on what the rest of my week will look like with 3 cards: situation, challenge, and advice. And I'm just gonna pick some random cards here because I didn't shuffle it well, and see what I get. There you go. So quite an interesting read. Starting with the Page of Pentacles, the week seemed to be requiring me to take steady steps towards building a foundation, perhaps hear the news of a new job, that would be nice, or promotion. And the most important thing is take steady practical steps and learning into something new. And then the challenge with it is the King of Wands, and this is probably the impulsivity of the King of Wands come into play and interfere with being able to take those practical steps and travel steady rather than rely on emotions. And advice is Three of Wands. I'm using RWS meaning here, but in this case I would say that the advice is to plan ahead rather than allowing spontaneity and passion to drive the decisions. Have a bit of a planning, and that will enable Page of Pentacles to do its job. Interestingly enough, if I look here, Page of Pentacles here is more look like a watery sign, I would say it's almost look like a Page of Cups to me here, just because of this water reflection, and it's more into dreamy like state, right? So not a Page of Pentacles vibe at all. The King of Wands looked like a Dracula to me. Also, it's a bit strange because the kings in this deck, they don't represent masculinity that well, and it's hard to say. The characters seem to be just like a kind of like, I wouldn't say randomly selected, and this is probably the reason. The reason behind is that it's a studio development. There isn't a single author that claimed on Kickstarter page, and I would be surprised if it was just different people developing this deck at different time, and that's probably the reason for the lack of cohesion here. And the Three of Wands here, well, I can see the planning. Definitely this person looking ahead. Now this red fiery feel to the cards isn't helping here a little bit, I guess, to associate it back to RWS, but definitely planning and stuff, action or something, rather something being already executed. The clouds here, again, not helping. It looks more like an air sign here. There's a bit of a confusion there as well. If you're familiar with RWS and okay to apply some intuitive reading, that would probably be okay, because the lore here is not linked to any of the characters based on what I understand. If I'm wrong, please let me know in the comments if you have his deck. Other than that, I think it's a confusing package. I would like to have a better guidebook and probably better lore behind some of his characters, because there's no connection to the characters here at all. So it looks like three disjoint efforts. The guidebook itself, then you've got the designs, which also are a little bit confusing. They're lacking cohesion. So this is my take on the Snake's Kingdom Tarot. To be honest, I don't think I'll be using this deck, but I'm still going to try it to do client reads and see how they respond to it. Perhaps it resonates with other people. Let me know what you think of it in the comments below. But I'm going to give it 2.5 honest 4 stars, just because some pros, like the quality of print, the UV coat and unique design, I like the holographic gilded edges, but I think it's a poor execution here. Additional cards, confusing guidebook, and being an RWS clone, it still deviated quite a bit from traditional RWS. And this is it for today. If you got something out of it, feel free to subscribe. And if you would like to support what I do, you'll find everything you need in the description. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.